Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me. Tonight's guest needs no introduction. We're going to give him one. Anyway, Paul from Hammers United, better known to you now as Bubbles. Paul, how you doing?
I'm all right. I'm busy, but you know, I've got a good home life, Gio, and I've got a good
Yeah,
good family. I'm
yeah.
retired. I'm going to go on holiday in a couple of days, so I should be really happy. But frankly, I'm totally pissed off, and probably like you, West Ham is just such a big part of my life. I love West Ham. Um, Everything is just so shit, and I'm disillusioned. I'm angry, fed up, and most of all, I'm sad. But I'm broken hearted. I could just burst into tears about it. It's just heartbreaking. This club's just disintegrating. It's just dying in front of us. Um, and we've got to do something about it. There's got to be change there because I'm telling you now, you don't have to be a football expert, right? Forgetting for the moment what counts most to me, which is the heart and the soul. If you're just looking only at results on the pitch, we don't go down this year. We'll go down next year. And all we're doing, mate, they don't bother in the cups. They just need 17th place. And we're just existing like a load of zombies, struggling one year after another. And it's just bloody misery. So I'm sorry, but yeah, I'm pissed off, mate.
Don't apologise. I
Absolutely
want your,
pissed off.
I want honesty. That's what you're giving me. That's what we're here for. Right. Some of you will have already seen this week. There's protests being planned. Hammers United are at the front and centre of it. So Paul's going to tell us what they're planning, why they're planning, and what the aims are. So let's start with the why first of all, Paul, if you don't mind. Why are Hammers United planning protests?
All right. Well, I think I've just said it really. Well, firstly, Hammers United have one stated aim, and that is to improve things for West Ham supporters. And frankly, the best thing we can do to improve things for West Ham supporters at the moment is get change at the top and the way the club is run. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to spin this, Gio. Forget what I think. I'm going to present to you, and you'll know them well, the 10 pledges made by Mr. Sullivan and Mr. Gold when they took the club over. Now let's see how many of these pledges have been fulfilled. And they've had 15 years to come up with the goods. So put these on. I can't see nothing without these. So, point one, appoint the right manager. Well, that's all matter of opinion. We've had Avram Grant. You don't just talk about the current manager, you've got to talk over 15 years. Avram Grant, Allardyce, Bilic, Moyes, Pellegrini, Moyes, Lopetegui, Potter. That's all I'm going to say because it is a matter of opinion. In my view, they have failed to appoint the correct manager. Sign new players. I've never been on West Ham's case for how much they've spent, but I think I've got to get this out there because it does piss me off. There are those out there that think West Ham have spent zillions and they're absolutely fantastic. That's just not the case. It's not the case. So last year they spent 144 million. They got 46 in. They got them in. They sold Downs, Benrahma, Kira, and Trott. The year before, they made a profit of 26. They didn't just sell Declan. It was Shamaka, Vlasic, Fornells, Masuaku, and Coventry. So over 2 years, the net spend has been 72 million, 36 a year. And it could be argued that maybe is a little bit light for a club like West Ham. We all know, and we're talking about 15 years here, there's been times when, in my view, certainly, we would have made Champions League. We could have pushed on once when we were at the Bowl-in, if they'd have made some signings in January, and they didn't. So one could say failure, probably, not sure. But there's something else, isn't there? The money they have they spent it well? Well, there's no doubt they haven't. So point two, failure. Point three, more investment into the academy. Again, it's a matter of opinion. Certainly, we all know the training ground's not up to scratch. Very poor, very, very poor compared to some. There'll be others, but off the top of my head, you've got Declan, Potsy, and Earthy have come. Really, they're the ones, obvious ones from the. Not much has come through the academy. Certainly not been a massive success. Has it been a failure? Matter of opinion. 4, continue to clear the debt. Well, this is where we're going to be in big trouble. We all know that. So the last when they took over, we were 110 million in debt. The last published accounts, which are the season before last, in actual fact, gone through it quite carefully. They didn't actually have, what's the word? There was no outstanding loans to shareholders, and they'd no external debt. But those last accounts, they're the most recent. We are owed for players 63 million. We owe 190. So the balance of that is we owe 127. Now, it's common knowledge they've extended the loan facility with Barclays. And even people who know a lot, which I don't, about football finances, are sort of saying, what's this for? Because as you know, they've remortgaged the training ground with the rights and media group. And probably that's the money that's buying these players at the moment, but I don't know. Whatever way you look at it, next year's accounts are going to be a lot worse. So point 4, pledge 4, clear the debt, hasn't happened. Point 5, freeze season ticket prices. Okay, we got them froze this year. The fans did, with a remarkable campaign. And those thinking about this campaign starting now should remember what we achieved last year. I remember Sean Whetstone saying, well, yeah, prices are going up 5%. With absolute certainty, more or less, he said that. We've got a price freeze, okay? And we know about the concessions. The season before, they went up between 6 and 14%. And Baroness Brady called it a small uplift in prices, which was both disingenuous and misleading. Season before, they went at 8%, and the season before, 7%. And I'll tell you this, which will surprise you. You compare our prices to Chelsea now. Have a good look. Not a lot in it, mate. Not a lot in it. So they started off fair play with affordable football. It's drifted hugely. But for that fight last year, it would have drifted more. So point 5, free season ticket prices fail. Point 6, Jesus, build the status and image of the club. My God, fail. 7's even worse. Make it enjoyable to come and watch. Oh, what can you say? 8, get closer to the community. Again, a matter of opinion. Possible. Though one remembers they tried to do away with concessions for the kids, the OAPs, over 60s, and the disabled. 9, go for the Olympic Stadium. Yeah, that's a big success. Fan base is really grateful for that. Vast majority backed up by our survey. Fan base hate the place. And point 10, listen to the supporters. Now listen, there's been a bit of progress on the FAB, and one could say I'm biased, but a lot of that is down to Andy Payne, who's the chair, brilliant chair, and also actually the new club's what they call supporters liaison officer. She's very good. But you've got to look over 15 years, mate. Over 15 years, listen to support. It's not happened. So that's their pledges, not mine. Dismal failure. That is the background of why what we believe West Ham supporters have got to say enough is enough. It's getting worse by the day. There's got to be change.
So what we're doing about it, what's Hammers United suggesting or putting on as a protest, and ways West Ham United fans can come together and voice their opinion?
Okay, mate. Well, firstly, let's make no mistake about this. This is not going to be a sprint. This is going to be a marathon. We are going to do something at every single home game. Okay? We've got to mobilise the away support, our away support. What we recognise, we got nearly 9,000 out on a March, Chair. there is no doubt we'd have got 15,000 the next time, and then COVID hit. And as for them that say it doesn't bother Mr. Sullivan, well, through a third party, I received a phone call saying, what would it take to cancel the march? And I said, it can't be cancelled. What you might be able to do is avert another one. So it does bother him. Okay. But that didn't come overnight, that big march. We started off with a rally with about 1,500 there. You've got to build to it. So we were thinking of protesting against Tottenham, but frankly, there's a massive march in London that day. Whatever your politics, I'm not getting into that. A lot of people from West Ham will be on that march, and the trains are completely screwed that day. So our first protest will be against Palace. What we're doing, we will congregate outside the director's entrance, and the number of people we got will then spread right along Marshgate Lane towards Pudding Mill Lane station. I will stress now, I will stress from the start, we do need vigorous protest, but it must be within the law. It must be within the law. People have different views on what protest achieves. My personal view is that what it does, it raises awareness, not West Ham, but everywhere else really. It raises awareness, and you get the mainstream media interested and involved, and you get the whole world looking at just how badly our club is run. And it's my view, if things get heated, out of hand, breaking the law, you lose the press support. And you'll be aware, mate, that on the last big march, there were lots of kids there. It was really good carnival atmosphere, and there were no arrests at all. So that's Palace. And what we will do, we will congregate between 1:45 and we'll disperse at 2:15. We recognise there'll be people going there that no longer go into the stadium. So we 2:15, they've still got time to get to the pub or whatever to watch it on the TV. Now, the next match, when you play an evening match, it's very hard to have physical protests because before the match, people are getting there after work. They can't get there early. And after the match, and we especially recognise that a lot of people don't live around the corner anymore. Now, back in my day, we'd fall out of the bowl in about 11:30. Most people walked home. Those days are gone. So you can't really protest after a match in an evening match. So we thought, right, we saw the success of Sheffield Wednesday's recent boycott, which frankly surprised me because the Sheffield Wednesday supporters, most of them had already bought a ticket, but they felt so strongly, they said, oh, we might have bought a ticket, doesn't matter, we've got to do what's right. And they boycotted, well, in incredible numbers. Now, I appreciate already people saying, oh, you shouldn't do that, you should go in the ground lane. And if we'd said we'd do that, then people would have said you should boycott. Everyone has a different view on this. That's the decision we've taken. I hope we get the support from other fan groups. I think we will. And we will push that. And then the point being, the world can see. The world will see a half-empty stadium. As I say, you can't really do physical protest at a night match. Now, the next games after that, we've made no decision yet because they could be changed for TV. But at the moment, you've got Newcastle at home, first week in that 1st of November, and I think Brighton the 8th. We will most likely, first one of those that is on a Saturday, do another march. And we would hope to get 10,000. But talking about physical protest only, I would hope by the end of the season to arrange a rally or a march and get 20,000 out. But look, physical protest, Gio, is only one side of things. There are so many other things that can be done. We did really well, we thought, with the concessions campaign, but we've learnt we can do better. There are things you might remember I said about the concessions campaign that we had up our sleeve. We didn't have to play those cards. We've still got those cards and we'll keep them close to our chest. We're getting a lot of offers of help from people who can do stuff far more effectively than I can. I'm an old school. I struggle to send a message on the phone, but we're getting people asking us, do we need help with desktop publishing, all this sort of stuff. But it will be a long campaign. And basically, if fans want change, and I believe they do, there'll come a time when the fans are going to have to stand up themselves. There's only so much I can do at Hammers United, you lads can do with your podcasts, all the fan groups can do. At the end of the day, when the call goes out, the fans will either answer the call or not. And if we don't have soldiers, then we can't win.
What's the aim? What are you hoping to achieve off the back of all this?
Obviously, I keep using the word change.
Yeah.
But we can see there's so much wrong at the club. If we do nothing, this club's going to die. There are those that are already saying to me, it's too late, the club's finished anyway. I don't agree with that. Now, in the past, it's always been Sullivan out. And it would please me no end if Mr. Sullivan was to sell up and walk away into the sunset. That might happen. But there is another scenario here. How about if he resigned and he took his paid employee, Baroness Brady, with him, and the directors possibly appointed a chief executive officer to run the club, possibly appointed a director of football, but whatever, get competent, efficient, energetic, committed people in to run this club professionally and stop the decline and then start moving forward. So, there are several aims, or there's several ways of putting it. Yes, I'd love him to sell up, but if we could just get him to walk away from the everyday running of the club, leave it to people who can do a far, far, far better job, I'm sure, then that would be a big step in the right direction.
Anything else you'd like to add, Paul? I would like to open the floor to you. You can say whatever you want. Is there anything else you'd like to add? Anything you feel like I've missed asking you?
Really, mate, just have made a couple of notes. Put the old bins on again. No, I just say, from a personal view, my generation, I think it was 5, it might have been 6, but we oversaw 5 or 6 relegations. My mates and I, we went every game home and away. You're talking over 50 years. I was late because I weren't from the manor and my dad wouldn't let me go till I was 13. But I've still done 56 years, so I don't go often anymore. But the one thing that was constant was the fan base. If we got relegated, we just all went every game home and away in the lower league. The fan base was always there. None of my mates go anymore. They don't want to go. They've got no interest. There's people going over Orient. They're going to Basildon. They're going to Hornchurch, Hitchin, everywhere you can think of that, And it's just heartbreaking. Those of us who care, we've got to try. We've got to try and do something about it. And I've said this before, but it's a phrase I like doing. We've all got mates. I had personal friends. It was Bimbo, was very well known, Dennis Lapine. What would they say if they saw us and we weren't trying, we weren't doing anything? Because they'd have been there. And I always say, when I got that corner flag, Bimbo would have had 3. He'd have had 3 before I got to the wall. We owe it. A lot of people watching this, their granddads would have gone. Their grandparents, their parents. I've got people on my committee that their dad was at the 1923 Cup. What would those people say if they thought we weren't trying? So I just beg everyone, stand up, be counted, and let's fight for our club. I just don't think I can add anything more, mate. It's just so important. Or do we just let it just drift away and die?